Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct tonight from Black Facts Headquarters Central here in Kent, Ohio. And we're coming tonight with part 2 of our series. Well, part 2 of our piece on Mary Stagecoach Fields as told by Gary Cooper. That's right, the movie star, the Western movie star, Gary Cooper, born in Helena, Montana, and quite familiar with Mary Stagecoach Fields. So her memory is not so far back that nobody can even remember. She's almost contemporary. That's how powerful this woman was, and her memory still is today. But before we go into all that, you know what I need you to do. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and give us a like. If you're watching on the tube, give us a thumbs up, and then go ahead and subscribe to our Tubular Black Facts channel. Subscribe so that every time we come on, you'll get a notification without any hesitation. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and read our proverb for the day. And I've got one here for all the little people out there. And it goes like this. Little by little grow the bananas. Little by little grow the bananas. And you might not believe this, but I have seen bananas growing right here in Northeast Ohio. This spring, I went by my one of my spots where I go to get seeds and seedlings and things like that. And lo and behold, what did they have growing in a pot but a banana tree with bananas on the vine? Well, it's not actually a vine, but bananas were there. They had some bananas on this thing. I have to go back and take a picture with this thing, a selfie with me and this banana tree, because otherwise it would be very difficult to believe that bananas could be grown here in Ohio. It's just a very atypical place. So little by little grow the bananas, and I believe that was a proverb from the Congo. Let's go ahead and continue on with our story about Mary Stagecoach Fields as told, as related to us by none other than Gary Cooper, movie star of stage and screen. Gary Cooper, former cowboy. So, you know, a dyed-in-the-wool Westerner, if you will. And here we go. Let me go ahead and start this slideshow for you so you can see who we're talking about, see what we're working with. We're working with Mary Stagecoach Fields, a woman who drove her horse and wagon 34 miles a day across the Montana frontier to do what? To deliver the mail. That's right. Neither rain nor sleet nor dark of night could stop Mary Stagecoach Fields. Neither could wolves, snow deeper than your ankles, nor broken wagon wheels. Nothing could stop this woman. Oh, and I almost forgot. Or bandits, okay? Because you see, she carrying her 30-aught. No, that's her Winchester, her 1876 Winchester carbine, okay? Don't play with Mary. Don't play with Mary, because she don't need the carbine to deal with you. All right, she will knock you out straight up. All right, so here we go for all the little people out there tonight. Mary might have lived all her days working at the mission if it wasn't for this particular incident that occurred that cut short her days at the mission. Her terrible temper, her lack of fear of man nor beast, meant that Mary was forever fighting with the hired men, and on one occasion fought a gun duel with one. No one remembers how it turned out, but Mary was still around when it was over. And you know she don't miss anything within 50 paces. That's right. Girlfriend don't miss. She don't play that. That's right, homie don't play that. The bishop was bombarded with complaints about her and wrote to the sisters ordering them to send that black woman away. And I doubt that he said it quite that nicely. It was a heartbreaking thing for all of the work Mary had done in the 10 years she spent in the man's service. She hadn't received nary one dime. The nuns all felt Mary had a lifetime home with them, but the bishop's orders had to be obeyed. Boiling in just indignation, Mary set out to see the bishop and Helena to make him bring witnesses to swear what they have said against her. But apparently, Mary lost. And brokenhearted, she left the mission. But she wasn't brokenhearted long, nor did she go very far. Mother Amadeus set her up in the restaurant business in Cascade. For all her toughness, Mary was too good-hearted and carried too much credit on her books. She would feed sheep herders during the winter, and they would promise to pay her when they worked in the summer. Mary went broke twice, and Mother Amadeus gave her another start each time. Still, Mary was unhappy because she was concerned about her sisters at the mission. Imagine that. Then Mother Amadeus went to the government. Doubtless the bishop never knew about it, and asked that Mary be given the mail route. They gave Mary the route between Cascade and the mission itself. And each day, never a missing of one, she made her triumphant entry into the mission, seated on top of the mail coach, dressed in a man's hat and coat, and smoking a huge cigar. On one occasion, a priest coming to the mission had been told he would be met in Cascade. Upon arriving at the mission, earlier than expected, the nuns asked how he came. He replied, "Oh, that big colored man met me at Cascade and drove me out." He was quite shocked when he learned that the man was a woman. Mary Fields. Mary met every train, oftentimes slept in the depot in bad weather. If Mary's coach could drive the route, if Mary's coach could not get through, she would shoulder the baggage and walk in snowshoes. She drove the route for 8 years. One day, thrown from the mail coach, she arrived at the mission in pitiful condition. The sisters urged her to return to the faith. She had not been a fervent Christian since the bishop had expelled her from the convent, however. Ooh, here we go. Oh, wow. A lot of pictures in here. Oh, boy. A lot of pictures. Mary went to confession. The next morning, the penitent Mary appeared not in her usual men's clothes, but in the front pew, wearing a beautiful dress and long white veil the nuns had made for her during the night. High Mass was celebrated to commemorate Mary's return to God. In 1903, Mary made her home in Cascade. Her stagecoach days were over, and her lifelong friend, Mother Amadeus, had been sent to Alaska to start new missions. Her successor, Mother Angela, tried to mother Mary as best she could, but there never could have been another Mother Amadeus. Mary began taking in washing and soon turned her home into a laundry. And though she was about 70 years old by then, one day she was having a drink in a saloon when a man passed who she said owed her $2 for laundry. Following him up the street, she grabbed him by the shirt collar, knocked him down with her fist, then returned to the saloon and announced, "Laundry bill paid." Hello. In 1912, Mary's laundry was destroyed by fire, and the townspeople contributed the lumber and their time and labor in rebuilding her home. In fact, so esteemed was she, in 1910, when the late R.B. Glover leased the new Cascade Hotel to Kurt Huntley, it was with the understanding that Mary would receive all her meals free at the hotel. Mary acted as a mascot for the Cascade baseball team for several years. For every game, she would fix a buttonhole bouquet for the members of each team and 5 large bouquets for each of those who made home runs. The flowers were from her own garden, yet she would punch any man in the mouth who talked against the team. For all her roughness, drinking, swearing, and other bad habits, Mary detested bad girls. You know she didn't like them, bad girls. And her honor was never questioned. She always took care of the altar at Wedgeworth Hall for the Catholic Society, but she did not live to see the Catholic Church finished. In her later years, she worked as a babysitter for $1.50 a day and then would spend the money buying goodies for her charges. She never did marry. Mary was one of the melting pot of pioneers, black, white, and yellow, who came from Tennessee and places beyond the seas to help conquer and tame the old Wild West. When she died, the town mourned her passing, and they buried her at the foot of the mountains by the winding road that leads to the mission. Now, as it turns out, in my family, on my mother's side of the family, we have a couple of relatives, some cousins. They were married to each other, but they were very much like Mary Stagecoach Fields, and one day I will tell you their story, because they went from living very civilized lives, suit and tie down, college educated, to living in a rural area in Massachusetts with no running water, no indoor plumbing, no gas, no electric, no telephones for the rest of their lives. They must have spent a good 50 to 60 years in their shack that they built in the outback of Massachusetts. And I'm not talking about no ancient tale. My cousin Juanita just passed a few years ago. She was all the way up in her 90s. And so, much like Mary Fields, whose birthday was celebrated twice a year by the whole town, this whole town in Massachusetts today, they have parades in recognition of my cousins. Yes. So Mary's story is just, I say all that just to say that Mary's story is just one out of many. It seems unusual to us today to talk about Mary Stagecoach Fields and the way that she lived, but Mary was not alone. there are many, many stories that we could tell similar to Mary's, just like Mary's. One of them we're going to tell tomorrow at noon. We're going to continue the story of Sojourner Truth, otherwise known as Isabella Baumfree, a Dutch slave in upstate New York, and her trials and travails with many different quote-unquote masters. But none of them can top the master of the universe. They were only the masters of their own little small, limited domain. So were they really masters, or were they something else? More like tyrants. We shall see. So stay tuned to this channel, the Tubular Black Facts channel, for more stories like this one, because we're going to go on all the way through the end of the month. This is the first. Oh, I did not mention that President Biden did sign the bill that was approved by the Senate and the House. And so now Juneteenth is officially a national holiday. Who would have thought? What day will be made a holiday next is my question. Will it be Chinese New Year? I don't know. But the possibilities are there, okay, for other holidays to be created. Because as always, Black people have paved the way when it comes to inclusion, diversity, and all these things that we have these modern, what do you call them? Catchwords for today, and acronyms, etc. So at any rate, let me go ahead and close on out. For all you little children out there, you know what time it is, so you know I don't need to give you no quiz, because I know you's a whiz. And you know that it's time for you to go to sleep. So what I need you to do right now is lay your little heads on your little pillows, on your little beds, and close those your eyes while you wait for that sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you know that it's time for you to rise and shine, all you children of mine, and greet that new day, because the possibilities are endless of what may happen tomorrow based on what we already know happened today and what we've been talking about that happened yesterday. The world is yours. Grab it, shake it, don't turn it loose. And for you adults, y'all know what you need to do. I need you to just give us a little jingle. That's right, jingle a few coins right into our coffers over here at Black Facts. It's easy to do at our website, blakfacts.org. That's where you can make a donation, not for me, but for yourselves. Because whatever monies come to Black Facts, I invest in more materials for us to share with all of you free here on the internet. So I'm sure it's worthwhile to spend a little time with us. 5, 10, 15, 20. You can donate any amount you like, $5 and above. Okay, from $5 up. You can do it on a recurring basis or a one-time basis. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it through YouTube. The links are there. Look for the links. Hit us up. And if you have a hard time finding it, send us a message and we'll hook you up. All right? In the meanwhile, peace out with justice, because anything less disgusts us. We like being discussed, but we don't want to be disgusted. Tomorrow, noon, we'll see you then. Oh, and don't let me forget to say good night to Sister Tony and anybody else who's out there that I haven't said good night to yet. Peace out, y'all.